everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this video. How many of you have shadows sitting around that say use wet or dry, or maybe they say baked eyeshadow on them, and I oftentimes really just haven't used them wet, you know, I just use them dry. But if you do experiment with using them wet, which I'm sure many of you have, you can really get a different effect. I'm going to be taking a couple of the baked shadows from Milani, which are gorgeous. They're kind of marbled and swirled like this. When you put them on your eye, they look one way dry and like a totally different shadow when you use them wet. And just because you decide to use them wet doesn't mean that's the only way you can use them. So like for example, for this look, I've used each of these shades wet and dry, and I feel like they come together to give you a really nice soft smoky look. So I'll show you how to get that. First, I'm just going to apply a little bit of primer here on my lid and crease area. Take that with your finger and really just blend it into your entire eye area there. And I'm going to take my Milani Baked Shadow Infusion. You can see this is a really pretty shade of some lilac and gold colors, and it's going to come off looking a little bit like a light lavender mauve type shade. And then I have this little spray bottle of water, and basically to make this be a wet shadow, I just spritz a little water on the palm of my hand. You can see my hand is not soaking wet, but there's just a little water on there. I take the sponge tip applicator and just dampen it on my hand, and then I go straight to the product. This is not going to mess up your product or make it so you can't apply it later. The moisture on there will not cause any problems for you. And then I am basically just going to apply this all over my lid here, and you can see that the reflective quality that this shadow has when you apply it wet is, you know, it's just a more vibrant color than you'd get if you wear it dry. So my applicator is still a little damp, so I'm just going to also bring it up to the crease as well. You're going to find this is going to be a really long wearing look too. And one of the things that I love about doing a kind of a wet slash dry technique is that I can take a brush to this now and pick up a little product and then totally soften this whole area with that shadow, and it just blends nicely. It's almost like I'm using two different shades. Like using it wet was one shade, and using it dry gives me another softer look, as you can see as I just blend this up here. I'm not even using a different highlight. I'm just really kind of concentrating it right in here, and then, you know, diffusing that shade up to the brow. So it's really light to almost non-existent right up next to the brow. I'm going to take a really pretty shade called Melange, and this is a black, and you can see some little bits of white, but overall, as the light catches it, there is a subtle gold shimmer in this product. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I just spray my hand, and you could do this any number of different ways. I just find this really easy to get the applicator wet without getting it soaking wet, and you could do this with a brush as well if you'd rather apply a brush to your hand and then to your product. But then again, I kind of just swirl it on the product a bit, and then I'm just going to apply this on the outer part of my eyelid, and you can see the intensity of the black is really nice. So I'm ever so slightly kind of getting that applicator right in the outer part of my crease and just pulling it outward a little bit. I'm just going to take this bare brush. It's the SS217 from Sigma, which is really nice for getting in your crease but still having some control. And like I said, I don't have anything on it. I'm just buffing over it. Go back to this dark shade, just dry, using my pencil brush here, and I'm just going to use that color as soft as I can under the lower lash line. Next, I'm going to use some pencil liner. This is my Evercolor Automatic Waterproof Liner in Onyx from Mally Beauty. I love it because it's really dark and it lasts a super long time on the waterline. So I'm just going to apply some of that to the waterline here. I'm also going to actually give a little bit of depth, really smudging this right between the lashes on the outer part here. And then I like to kind of blend over that again with the dark shadow. Then I'm going to line the upper lash line with this. Alright guys, here's the finished look once the lashes are on and everything's all finished up. So I hope you like this. What I really just wanted to show you was if you have some shadows in your collection that are baked or say, you know, wet dry, instead of just having one shadow, that really doubles as two totally different looks depending on how you want to use them. So that's the eye part of things. On my face, you know, I went through my regular foundation, concealer, and all that, but then to bronze it up and kind of give my face some contour, I feel like when I wear my hair parted in the middle, I sort of pay more attention to doing a little bit of maybe contouring on the forehead, like concentrating a little bit more on either side, also the cheekbones, and for that I love the e.l.f. contouring blush and bronzer, so I use that side there. And then just to give a little pop of brightness on the cheeks, I know I talked about this in a recent video, but I used my Pink Passion blush from e.l.f. Not really to get this, you know, color, but you just use a little bit really lightly right up in here, and I feel like it just kind of brightens up the face. For lips, I played off of the gold undertones that are also in the eyes, and I used my Maybelline Color Sensational lipstick in Nearly There, and this kind of comes off as like a metallic sort of neutral shade. And then to pump up the shine a bit, I used my Rimmel Vinyl Bronze Lip Gloss in Golden Goddess. I've heard some people say that these have been discontinued, but I know I just saw them at my local Walmart store, so it might just kind of vary store to store whether they've kept these in stock. But if you look closely at this, this gives a nice golden sheen on top of just about any lip color if you want to give it that sort of a look. So hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.